Well, Sundays are for a service, right? I think that's what the 220 is going to get today, and the Mini. So I'm down here. I parked this after I washed it the other day under the shelter because I thought I was going to get to the service that afternoon or the next day and it was going to be raining. Well, guess what? That didn't happen. Shocking. But here we are now, and I got time. I got to I'm gonna go ahead and take that bucket off and put the digging bucket on. I'm gonna do some work around here later today, and I don't need the grading bucket, but I got to change the, well, first I want to run it for a minute and warm it up a little bit before I drain all the oil out of it. Change the oil and the fuel filters on this. Everything's right here, so I'm gonna get that swapped out. There was a filter sale the other day at Napa, so she's going to get Napa filters this round, and picked up about a year's worth of filters for a pretty good savings. So that's what it's going to get on it this time. And the mini excavator, I need to do the oil and fuel filters on that. It's pretty simple. They're very small filters, and I need to tighten this track up. I tightened that other one up the other day, but it had so much mud on this one I couldn't get to it, and it's got a little bit more sag than you really want it. You want it to kind of look like this one over here. So that's normally where I run them. That might be a little bit loose for some people, but I have found out over the years it's actually better to run them a little bit loose. If you're not a moron, you won't knock them off. But it just really extends the life of your undercarriage. If you keep those things banjo string tight, they will wear these sprockets and rollers and everything out very quickly. So I will agree that's a little bit loose, but there's no issues with me running it like that. And on the Mini, I've got to, I must have locked that back. I got to get the keys in it. Unlock that, but just the fuel filter and water separator, or fuel filter on that as well. So let me start this up and change buckets out. And that'll warm it up enough to make the oil drain out a little bit quicker. Oh, we almost had a boo-boo. We almost had a boo-boo. Oh, that would have been bad. I've already backed up, but we were very close to having a bad day. I guess I didn't shut that panel door. I'm glad I just happened to glimpse back there and see it opening up. It was hung on the post, and it was, yeah, I bet that panel door is 2,500 bucks. Let's back up and get that shut. Oh, you would have seen me cry right on YouTube. Whew. Safe panel door now. Let's try that again. And that's why it pays to be vigilant. I would have had to, that would have just folded that door right around. All right, so we got an oil filter, water separator, and the fuel filter. All right, that should be the 1820 for Napa. That should be the 3693, and the fuel filter, we'll find one that looks like that. All right, I know the oil filter is the 1820. Here's my big box of filters. It should be an oil filter. Correct. All right, 1820 is the oil filter. We need to find a fuel filter and a water separator. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Those are for the work truck. Let's see, 3690, that should be a fuel filter. Fuel filter. Yeah, that's it. All right, fuel filter. Now we need the water separator. Let's look for a big box. 3683. There it is. All right. Always make sure you got all your filters first. So it's got the drain. So actually what you do is you take off that separator bowl right there, and all it is just built into the filter, and then that sensor should screw back into that little plug right there, and then my fuel filter is back there. Might let that cool off for a minute. The oil got a little hot while I was changing the buckets out. I ran it too long. Well, it would appear I've lost a bolt. I don't remember if that was missing last time I changed the oil or not. Let's save a shirt. I should probably. I was gonna say I should probably. Whoa. Yeah, good flow. Real good flow. It holds more than 5 gallons. Look at that. I didn't make too big of a mess. Alright, let's let that drain. Look, absolutely no metal on the drain magnet. Even better. So I'm going to try something a little bit different this time, because it makes such a mess when you change the oil filter on these things. I'm going to try putting a bag over it and seeing if that helps contain some of the oil, because before it just pours out. If that'll grab, it just pours out all over the belly pan and runs down and just gets everything messy. There we go. All right, let's see. Probably should have loosened it up before I put the bag over it, but here we are. Let's see if this keeps it contained. So far, so good. I just hate oil when it runs down on everything. Now we're spilling a little bit, but it's far better than normal. I don't think I took it off quick enough. There we go. Keep going. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Look at that. So last time the mechanic told me, I was talking to him, he was like, try this next time you do it. Put grease on the O-ring before you fill it up with oil. He said that the grease won't dry out that O-ring. He said it'll make it a lot easier coming off next time. But you got to do it before you pour oil all over it. If not, you've kind of defeated the purpose. Oil's a little thick. It's a little cold coming out of that barrel. That's good enough. All right, good to go. Well, let's try round 2 on the fuel filter with a bag. I already loosened it up so I can take it off by hand now. This one's a bit aggravating to get to back here, so let's see how well this works. I hear fuel gushing out. Yeah, this was the one that definitely always made the mess. I think the wind ate one of my my third bag, so hopefully I can salvage this one for the water separator. Because guess who didn't bring any extras? Me! Alright, how long of a thread you got on this thing? There we go. Alright, catch what's left. And try to remove all this without tearing a hole in the back. Oh, we're spilling. Oh, we should have gone up. There's no, oh, we poked a hole in the bag. Not working. So it wasn't a complete fail. It caught most of the fuel. I should have double bagged it, I guess. So I've already put grease on the O-ring on this and pre-filled it with diesel fuel. So I don't have to sit there and prime it so much. I want to hand snug it up, but leave it loose. So I can, when I do the water separator, it's got a primer on it right here, pump the rest of the air out of it. So I ran out of bags, so we're just going to have to make a mess on this one, I guess. Do-do-do. Ooh, that one got tight. Wonder why that one got so tight. Let me find a bag. Take two. You can't really put a pan under here just because there's so many hoses. Of course, that hose gets hung up on everything. It's working and it's not working. Well, we've got pinholes everywhere. Well, we tried. I think I could have had the whole filter off by now. Well, at least it's outside of the machine. I don't know why, but this one has always been difficult to start. But it's on there now. And I have a feeling it's not full of fuel either. I'll get it primed up though. Well, I suppose we probably need to put the drain plug back in. Everything went fairly well. Changing the fuel filter minus the, whoa. Well, where'd it go? The water separator kind of gave me a bit of a fit, but I got that all tightened up. Somebody got off on this panel just a little bit. There we go. It's not quite centered. Last but not least, we need to put some oil back in here. Let's fill it up. All right, well, let's see how this goes. I got everything primed up, oil's back in the machine, locked back in place. Now that shouldn't be dripping out right there. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's go make sure it starts up now. Should be good to go. Moment of truth. So far, so good. Make sure we got no leaky leaks. All right, let me see if I can find a Sharpie, write the dates on these things. And last but not least, let's tighten up the track here. Doesn't need much, but it needs a little bit. So to tighten these up, there's a grease fitting right there. I've got that cleaned off. There's a piston in here, and the grease goes in there and it pushes that piston out. And there's a big spring right there at the end of that idler. And what it does is it pushes that idler wheel out, and that allows the track to tighten and or loosen the track. So normally when your undercarriage is about clapped out, that idler wheel, the center of it will be about right here. So that'll kind of normally tell you about how wore out everything is. The sprockets on this machine are kind of wearing down pretty good, but the pins still seem pretty good. So as the pins wear down, obviously that gets narrower, and the wheel has to go up farther to keep everything tight. So all in all, the undercarriage is still pretty good on this machine. And whenever it is due for one, I'll probably go ahead and get these track adjusters repacked. It's just when you're digging up stumps, you put so much weight on the front end that it doesn't take much to kind of bypass a little bit of grease, and they'll get a little bit loose over time. So let's get it tight. And there we have it. Track is where I want it, so I've done this long enough I can just pretty much look at it and tell that it's where it needs to be. Sometimes you might need to jack the machine up and spin the track around a little bit, and it'll finish getting the rest of the sag out of it, but that should be good for where I want it. So let's go ahead and pop the air filter in this thing. All it would do. So I thought I had an inner filter, but I don't. That one looks pretty good. So I'm going to put a new outer filter in, and I will order a new inner filter. There we have it. All the filters changed for the oil and fuel. Dates written on them. Track adjusted. Air filter changed. Last but not least, we got to change the service increments in the cab. So we can go down to service, engine oil filter, set interval, Oh, we need to reset that. It does 500 hours, and so we got 1500 left on the hydraulic oil. Actually, we have more than that because they serviced it when I got it. That never got changed. All right, so I normally change about every 400 hours, 450, so should be good to go for the most of this year. All right, so I pulled the Yanmar out. I want to do the service on it. Well, I thought I was going to do all the service, but they've changed the fuel filters between the yellow and the red machine, so the fuel filter I got is different, and it's about half the size of that, so I'm wanting to go with the right one and hold off. But I'm going to go ahead while I'm feeling froggy and change the oil in this, and then I can order the right fuel filter, and that's easy to change right there. I got the water separator, and just kind of loosen that up, and you shall see if there's any water in the bottom of it, you'll see it come out this hose right here. Should. I'm not going to take all that out. I don't see any water in it. I don't want fuel running all out where I've got to work, but that's how you drain that if need be. So let's go ahead and pull the cover off the bottom and drain the oil out, replace that filter. So this one felt like it was different than the yellow one. I ended up having to take this big cover off. For some reason I thought that was the cover for the oil pan, but it's different. So there it is. Should hold all of about 1.5 gallons, maybe 2 at the most. Let's see if I can get that bolt out without oil squirting everywhere. That's factory tight. See if I can do this without, I don't know, not gonna happen. Let's just hope it doesn't come out too far. Really, I'm not looking forward to an oil bath. Can't do that with an oil pan that's still got oil in it. Oh, that wasn't bad. Oh, look at that. They even made a little, oh, how convenient. So they put a tube on there, a pan for it to run to, and a hose. It runs right down to the pan there. So then now it runs everywhere. I feel like that hose has got knocked over. It should hang out the open hole right there. But I can't get my hand in there to move it right now. This thing had one about 1 mile long fitting. There we go. There we go. Isn't that nice? It's got a little pan that's over full. They tried. That's all that matters. Somebody tried. All right, so I got the filter replaced and drain plug put back in, cover on. Now it's time to fill it back up with oil. And I gotta top the antifreeze off as well. Well, this ought to be interesting. And the first service on the Yanmar is done. I gotta order that fuel filter and get that put on when it arrives. So the 220 is good to go, and the oil is good to go on the Mini. So I got a little project to use it on later this week, finishing up that little berm on the shooting range, and that way it'll be ready for that. I don't think people realize just how much upkeep there is on equipment. I mean, that was pretty much the better half of the day, getting all this stuff taken care of. About at least the last 3 hours just kind of doing all this stuff. But if you don't take care of it, you'll have a lot of stuff to deal with later. Hope you enjoyed.